So I want to bring in meteorologist Darren Peck to talk more about this. We're talking about at least 30 aftershocks have struck Venezuela since those two powerful earthquakes, not to mention the country particularly vulnerable to earthquakes because it's on an active tectonic boundary. So what else do we know?
A lot of really poor construction. And that's why I think we should probably prepare ourselves for the number of fatalities to go up in the next 2 days from what we're hearing. But first, let's talk about what the most important part of this is. There's going to be aftershocks to this. It was 2 7+ magnitude earthquakes. We actually call that a doublet. It's a technical USGS technological term. When you have 2 significant earthquakes like that happen one right after the other, but the big one was 7.5, the other one was pretty close to that. Let's come over this way. USGS has been able to put out pretty specific forecasts during big events like this. It's going to look a little odd behind me, but what you're looking at is the probability forecast for the intensity of aftershocks. So here, I've got some good news on this. There's a bunch of color bars on here. The one I want to talk about is the possibility of a magnitude 6.0 aftershock. Because earlier today, there was about a 40% chance we would likely still see aftershocks, or at least an aftershock, as strong as a 6.0, which in its own right is a significant earthquake. But when you put that on top of the compromised buildings all over this part of Venezuela now, it's a very big concern. I have some good news on that. Here's the orange number up here. So it's a 20% chance. All right, on the downside, there's still a 20% chance that we could still have an aftershock that exceeds 6.0. But earlier today, it was 40%. My point is, the farther we get in time here, without getting any of those real significant aftershocks, the odds go down. But if you look at the numbers here, there are still very high probabilities of magnitudes 3s and 4s. They're going to have them. They're going to keep going. Right now, the official fatality count's in the hundreds. I know this looks odd too, but the USGS has been putting together these probability forecasts for very unpleasant statistics when major earthquakes like this happen. It's the likely fatalities. What I just draw our attention to is the probabilities here point to numbers being in the tens of thousands. We're not going to try and put an exact number on it, but I'm just trying to prepare the notion of this is an early part of this story, and we will probably have to deal with the numbers of fatalities going much larger than what we've been hearing in the very initial reports. So a developing story for sure, Juliet. Back to you.
Darren, thank you.